What's up, guys? It's your boy Mario back again with another Technomancy Studios update, and with, of course, my new Rantsona, the CEO. Now, as much as I would love to go on ranting about liberals, I have something more important to tell you. So, guys, after months and months of working, we finally finished the Gamma 19 demo. Everybody give us a round of applause, please. Thank you very much. Yeah, we kind of were trying to see how much, we took about 6 months working on the Suits 2 demo. Even though that one came out like complete crap, though, it was still really buggy, big mess in a lot of ways. And the game's still kind of a mess, I think, but hey, people love it. But yeah, we worked on this. It's very well polished, I would say, for a demo, especially for how, very early it is on the game. People have still found some issues, but nothing we can't fix. However, for the most part, it's still playable and all that. Just more stuff like balancing and tweaking some things that people have been suggesting. So we got some good feedback. I would say. So if you want, I'm going to put the links down below. So we have the itch.io page for it. We have a Steam page for Gamma 19, and we could put a demo on there, but we currently have some plans I can't talk about. It's kind of a little secret. Now, I don't like to do this because that's kind of what we did last time with Suits Absolute Power. We kept a lot of things secret, kind of hush hush, whatever. And I really can't stand it. I cannot stand doing that, but it'd be worth it. We're gonna keep it a secret for a bit, though. I think once we have something to show, a little bit more to show, we will show it off. Anyway, so what's next? So another big update. We will be switching engines for their next games. This was a decision I had to make because GameMaker is just crap. It really can't do what we want to do all the time. I mean, Suits 2 was just pushing GameMaker to its limits, and Gamma 19, I can already see it's pushing it. It's really sad because it's not a bad engine, but it's kind of a bad engine. Or it's not a bad engine, but when you want to make big games, mostly with bigger textures and things like that, it's really hard to work with because you have to do a lot of resource managing. Like which textures are loading, which ones are not, and even then, GameMaker kind of sucks with that because you're like, okay, well, flush all the textures, only load these textures up, and it still loads every single texture in the game. You're like, why is it doing that? What are you doing? That's all I ask. I ask that question all the time. And audio groups too need to be loaded and all that stuff. Okay, whatever. That's not the worst, but even then you have a limitation on how much RAM the program uses. GameMaker has a hard-coded limit of 2 gigabytes, which is really, really bad. Really bad. 2 gigabytes of RAM can only be used from that engine, system memory. I'm like, really? That's really bad, because at some point during Suits Absolute Power, the games were just crashing. And it was because of that. Because all the audio was being loaded to the RAM, and then it ran out of memory. So that's when I had to do the load managing all the audio groups and all that. Not the worst thing ever, but it's really annoying and very limiting, especially, again, bigger games require more resources, and nowadays most computers have at least 4 gigabytes of RAM. That is just now a standard because 64-bit is just really a standard now. And there's still some computers out there who are still using their very underpowered and all that, but GameMaker really needs to at least say, hey, do you want to use 4 gigs? How much RAM do you need to use the program? Give us the option. However, we're not using that engine anymore, again, due to its limits, paying for licensings just for exporting all kinds of things. It's annoying. That's really annoying. So during Suits 2, I was looking at another game engine that I thought could be good. It looks promising. And, I tried to learn it, you know, again, I didn't have a lot of time to learn it, and something about it I just could not grasp the fundamental. I don't know why. Now, after going back into it, I definitely can. And so that engine is the Godot engine. You might have heard of it, you might have not, but it is a 2D and 3D engine maker which has 3D support, but it really doesn't, because if you don't have an editor that can do 3D, you don't have 3D support. Not proper 3D support, at least. Godot was actually really amazing. I mean, this is a really new engine. I mean, this thing only been out for a few years, as far as I know. And you could do so much with this thing, it seems. I mean, obviously, I haven't seen any games that have been released on Steam that specifically say they've been using Godot engine. You know, I guess a lot more for like personal projects and things like that. But you know, programming, you know, like just the workflow. This is so much better than GameMaker's, I think. You know, I mean, it was kind of confusing at first because you're like, okay, how do you make an object? I'm going from GameMaker to this. I'm trying to think the same way. But you have like things called scenes and all this stuff. You know, you could look all. But I'm not gonna get into it. But you know, I was able to make this little demo for a little game I wanted to try making. You know, and it's just a simple thing. Like, here's a room. There used to be furniture, but I took that furniture out. You know, simple lighting. I got set up. It looks really clean. And a camera that moves very smoothly. You know, you can zoom in, zoom out. It's really awesome. It's really great. I haven't tried much of the 2D part. I'm gonna try that sometime. Be really cool to see how fast I could do in there. Hint, maybe potential Suits remake in this engine. That would be pretty neat. Again, it depends just how fast I can, like, how easy I can just like transfer assets over, because you know, like something like Suit 1 uses basically RPG assets, or like they're tailored for the engine, so it might not translate. But I mean, I imagine with the Suits 1 remake, you would actually just make assets, and not the worst thing in the world. Yeah, so what do I like about it? Yeah, 2D, 3D, like you could literally switch like this. Boom. One big thing I've seen is it has proper UI support. So what I mean is, like, you can build like a button, windows, and menus like that super easily, and it can all scale properly, and you can just, and you know, you don't have to, you just have like, you open an editor and you start doing it here, like user interface, you start doing everything here, and you can program and all that. GameMaker doesn't have that. GameMaker does not have that. Yep. I have to build something myself, and it's still really crap, and you can't really see it until you run the game, and the bigger game gets, the longer it takes to actually build. So yeah, there's just a lot with this that I'm like, this is just definitely better than GameMaker. I mean, this is definitely, they definitely had, you know, when you have 3D support like this, they definitely have you know, like, oh, there's gonna need to be like more resources that be that stuff, but also, you know, it should run well on lower end systems depending on how you build these games. Game 19 or like something like that, shouldn't be intensive really, but GameMaker barely handled. So yeah, guys, I think that's my time. I really hope you guys enjoyed this little update. You know, again, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, comment below on this video, and I'll see you guys next.